Good evening again, everyone. We're back for the second show this evening. We are trying our best for you, Jonathan Woodgate and the boys. We're getting right behind you, and this is our final opportunity to give you that boost that you might need to get over the line tomorrow afternoon against Brentford in the second leg. So thank you for everyone who joined us on our playoffs debate preview show. If you haven't seen it, tune into YouTube, check out the preview we just did with Brentford, Swansea and Barnsley contributors. Very insightful and gives you a little bit of information on what might happen tomorrow. So what have we got coming up now in the next 50 minutes or so? We've got fans coming on, Cherries fans. They're going to let us know how they feel about the game and give us their thoughts and maybe a score prediction as well. Make sure you hit that like button at some point during the show. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We've gained 18 subscribers this week, which is massive, and it helps us as we go into those final moments of the season. We're going to bring the first lot of Cherries fans on in just a moment, just after we get John Amos' thought ahead of Brentford.
What a season it's been. Can't believe it's now at the playoff stage, and I think all Cherries fans will be delighted that we're going into the second leg, having beaten the mighty Brentford, who beat us twice, beaten them at home 1-0. That last game was a great game. Bournemouth back to their best. I was a bit worried after we'd had 3 consecutive defeats going into it and a very inept performance against Stoke. But I thought against Brentford, all the players did really well. I think everybody put in a shift. We kept Ivan Toney quiet again. And the only downside really from that result, of course, was Steve Cook getting a knock and emerging that Pearson's got a slightly dodgy hamstring. But anyway, I think going into this second leg now, I reckon we'll probably get a 0-0, which will be enough to see us through. I would say in terms of confidence, about 60% confidence that we'll get a draw or a win. My worry is that it remains 0-0. We get a bit nervous going into the final few minutes, and then maybe Brentford nick a goal, then we go to extra time and penalties. But I'm trying to put thoughts of that to the back of my mind. I reckon we're going to get a 0-0, and we're going to get to Wembley again. I was there last time for the Auto Windscreens final. And I went to Cardiff as well, but our playoff to get into the Premier League at Wembley, what more can we want? So come on, you Reds!
There we go. That was John Amos with his thoughts ahead of the game, and we have Aaron, Sammy and Daniel joining us first on this show. And Aaron, how are you feeling about the game and what happened Monday?
Bag of nerves. Really is getting to squeaky bum time and the point of no return. I was feeling great Monday night. Feeling quite positive all week, and now it's do or die time really. Looking forward to the game, I would say. I'm quite pleased it's on at lunchtime rather than waiting for all day for an evening kickoff. So get it out of the way and just get on with it. I mean, obviously we'll talk about lineups and everything a bit later, but I'm feeling okay, as good as you can be before perhaps the biggest game that decides the future of this football club.
Sammy, great to see you. First of all, some really good stuff coming out of Talking Cherries at the moment. Just tell us what you've been doing recently, how people can get in contact with you, and how you're feeling about tomorrow afternoon.
Right, so Talking Cherries, we're doing some fortnightly like Zoom calls, where it's kind of like this really. We just literally, everyone just comes on Zoom and we all fight to talk. And literally, we just chat about football really, and anything else that comes up we might chat about what people have been doing. But yeah, it's just really like cherry talk really. So that's really good. They've been fortnightly since just after Christmas, I think. And also we're starting to do what we're going to call walk and talk, where we've tried a couple. Obviously with COVID restrictions we had to limit the numbers, but we've got another one on the 30th of May, which everyone's welcome to. Just meet up at the stadium and we just go for a walk and get a beer at the beach.
Amazing. And how are you feeling about tomorrow after that 1-0 victory on Monday?
Surprisingly calm right now, but then generally any game I'm really calm till about 5 minutes before kickoff, and then I'm like, oh god, here we go. So yeah, ask me again tomorrow, it might be a different story, but right now we're all right. It's going to be all right.
I hope we don't make you nervous on Lineups Live. I hope we don't play our part in that nervousness. But Daniel, you've had an exciting season. You've had some really good moments. You've had a message from Jeff Lerma. Come on, I mean, we've got a 1-0 aggregate lead at the moment. Is there more memorable moments to come for you this season?
I feel like if we could win tomorrow, it's going to be all good for Cherries fans, because I feel like ever since we lost those 3 games, we lost our confidence. But ever since Dan Jumer was in the press conference with Sky Sports, I feel like we came back to being the Bournemouth that won 7 in a row. So I feel like it will just be all good until our bad form comes back.
Okay, Aaron, so I think you predicted the same scoreline as me, 1-1. That was off the back of winning on Monday, and obviously that was 3 losses before that. But I don't know if you know, but we haven't drawn a football match for 12 matches.
Yeah, well, there's always time for one, isn't there? I was thinking about this. We all talked about those 3 games, about how mentally there was nothing officially riding on it other than places where you're going to finish in the playoffs. And we know that Jonathan Woodgate tinkered with the team to give some players minutes, to rest some players. So, I don't think we should read too much into them. So realistically, we haven't lost a meaningful game under Woodgate for some time now, and that includes wins, a big win at home against Watford when we had to win, a big win against Swansea when we had to win, going to Norwich when we had to win. And I was thinking that he's obviously got a lot of experience in big games himself, and he's obviously motivated in the right way. So I do feel confident in that respect that we haven't lost for some time in a game that actually means something. We had to win, and also psychologically, it's a 2-legged game, but ultimately now it's a 1 game, 90 minutes, and we're 1-0 up before we start. That's the way to look at it. And I was thinking this, I always fancy us to score, but even if we don't score, they have to score 2 for us to lose the match. Obviously, we can lose penalties potentially, but taking that aside, they always have to score 2. So, and if we score 1, they have to score 3 to actually beat us. So, psychologically, that's not easy. Obviously, if they get an early goal, they can easily win 2-0 or 3-0, for that matter. But I just think there's that little bit of advantage for us before we start, knowing that they have to score 2 to actually beat us in the actual football match. So I think we got to go there and play our stuff. We got big game players, and I can see it going either way. I really can see us turning up and putting on a brilliant performance, the like that we haven't seen that much this season. We know we're capable of it, and blowing them away. Alternatively, I can see Brentford with their supporters behind them getting an early goal, and then it's going to be very difficult for us. So it's really, really difficult to call. But we have to stay positive, and I think a draw will be obviously a good enough result for us.
Sammy, I've had you on a preview show before, and when we looked at the lineup, you said to me, I think if I can go back this far, is who knows who's going to turn up? And David Brooks turned up on Monday, made a change, and when he does turn up, what a player we have. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of people have been sort of a bit down on him for a lot of the season. I kind of have, not in a bad way, but I just think I don't know, he needed some minutes to get his confidence back, but also giving him the minutes, we were kind of like, oh, we don't want him on the pitch. We've got better players that could play ahead of him. So it was that, vicious circle. Don't want him to play because he's not playing well, but need him to play to get his confidence back and to be able to play well. And definitely pulled it out the bag Monday night. So that would have given him a real big boost. So hopefully the good old David Brooks will turn up on tomorrow, and hopefully he'll get a goal, give him a bit more confidence. We're in the final.
Arnie Danjuma, Dan, he got player of the season from the club, I think, today. But another player that probably would have wanted that trophy was Asmir Begovic. And how big could he be for AFC Bournemouth tomorrow?
Yeah, I feel like he could. I feel like it's going to be all in his hands, because I feel like we have the lead and Brentford want to win. So I feel like tomorrow's going to be his time. And I'm confused why Begovic didn't win the player of the season award, because I feel like he deserved it way more. Not to be rude, but I feel like he's been the best player since our highest and lowest.
We got some more guests coming on very, very soon, some extra special guests, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's just have a quick look then, guys, at the team lineups. We know that Steve Cook is 50-50 and also Ben Pearson. What we want to agree, as we can, as a group, hopefully, is what I've done there, and you can see I've pre-populated it, is I have myself taken Steve Cook out of that lineup. I don't think he'll make it, but I do think they might get Ben Pearson fit. Aaron, do you want to change that lineup at all? from tomorrow?
No, I think that's pretty set. I think he clearly would have kept the same team had they all been fit. I think you're right. I'd be very surprised to see Steve Cook out there. And much as I love Cookie, and we're going to miss our leader and our captain, Chris Mepham was excellent in the second half. You know, he's had some low moments this season, but he's undoubtedly a good centre half. He's obviously an ex-Brentford player, so he's going to really want to put one over on them as well. Yeah, and I think he'll be well drilled, and I've got no problems there. The one I've said time and time again is we haven't got a direct replacement for is Ben Pearson, so I'm really hoping they can patch him up, get him out there, and he can offer that protection, especially away from home with Jeff Lerma. Other than that, I think the team picks itself. They'll play well on Monday night, and yeah, I think we don't want to be too defensive. We want to play our game and see how it goes.
Sammy, are you happy with that team? Is there an argument to say that Rico could come in at left back and Kelly could shift in alongside Carter Vickers?
No. In a word.
Simple as that. One word. No, you're happy with that team?
Yeah, the only thing is I don't know if would he start Pearson or maybe bring him on, like if he is carrying a bit of an injury, or if he does start him, maybe he won't pay the full 90, maybe protect him a little bit. So whether it's he doesn't come on at the beginning and get subbed on, or the other way around, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play the full 90 if he is available.
And Dan, are you happy with that team? And does Dom Solanke score tomorrow?
I feel like the team is good, but if Ben Pearson doesn't start, I think Sam's going to go on. Sam Storage is going to go on for 2 up top. And I feel like Dominic Solanke will score, but it's going to be from it's going to be like a lucky ball that no one would think he would score, but he scored.
Okay, let's quickly go around then before we switch it up. Aaron, just confirm your score prediction for tomorrow's second leg.
8-0. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, I'm going to go for 1-0. We are capable of keeping a clean sheet. I don't think we'll, though, but I think we're always capable of scoring a goal. We will create chances tomorrow, and we've just got to take at least one of them. So I'm hopeful that we'll score one, and hopefully we'll be disciplined enough and motivated enough, with the mentality right, do the basics at the back, nothing stupid, and 1-1 will see us through.
Sammy, do you want to confirm your score prediction?
Yeah, and this might be a bit of a surprise, but we're going to win 3-1 because I can't change it. End of. And if I change it, that's it. It'll just it's got to stay like it.
We wouldn't want it any other way. And Daniel, thank you for coming on. What's your score prediction?
I think it's going to be 1-1 because I see us scoring because we need to, but I cannot see Brentford scoring. I think they're going to score. It will be unbelievable if they don't, but I feel like they have to score.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you for having you. Thanks for having you on, and enjoy the game tomorrow. We're going to switch it up with some new guests now. And firstly, we're going to hear from Steve Hensman.
Well, here we are, playoffs. Didn't think we'd get there at one point, but here we are. Had the first leg on Monday against Brentford, who I thought would have the upper hand on us after beating us twice in the league. But as it turns out, we could have won that game more than 1-0, I think. We had plenty of chances. I only feel they had the one chance, the Mbeumo chance, right at the end. And yeah, we go into the second leg with a 1-0 advantage. I think we have to approach this second leg the same way we did the first. Hit them on the counter-attack. Don't do anything silly, be calm, composed. And we know we've got the players to beat any team in this league. And I know there are other crowd behind them. But if we frustrate them, I'm sure of it. So let's be sensible. Let's do the same as we did at Dean Court under the lights on Monday night. And we'll be fine. We got this. Come on, lads. Up the Cherries.
That was Cherries fan Steve Hensman there, and we've got some new guests on. So let's please welcome Scotty Dog Mitchell. How are you doing, Scotty?
I'm all good, thanks. Bit windswept today, but yeah, no, it's all good.
Working on the farm, I assume.
Yeah, I've had my local young farmers club. They haven't got together for 16 months, so I'm a fast young farmer. So they had a mock auction here tonight, judging my valuing my machinery. So say like an auction would be, a farm auction. So yes, I was the host tonight. So I've just about got that finished and dashed in here to catch up with you guys.
And we've also got someone who's been on the channel before, Ross Embleton, former youth team manager of AFC Bournemouth. How are you doing, Ross?
I'm good. I feel a little bit like I've sold myself short with the way I've named my laptop this evening. Seeing someone Scotty Dog Mitchell and then I'm just Ross. But I'm good otherwise, thank you, mate.
I thought you were great in friends, Nick.
Yeah. Dan, a regular contributor on Cherries Red Army, have your own YouTube channel. Jerron, lots of football content coming out of there at the moment. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. How's everyone?
All good, all good.
Confident man.
And Keithy T in his Dutch shirt, as always, been busy this week. Absolutely, brilliant. Let's come to you then, Scotty Mitchell. Monday, we got the job done after 3 losses, 3 games without a goal, 1-0. Take it to Brentford tomorrow. I mean, how are you feeling about that game on Monday and this second leg?
Well, I'm got to be honest. I'm slightly concerned that the game plan was to hit them on the break at home, which that is a concerning thing for me. I thought we'd maybe sort of stamp our authority on it a little bit, and I think we pretty much marked Tony out of the game. But it, that just to see the manager afterwards say that was the game plan and it worked. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case on Saturday. I'm hoping that we try and get the first goal. I think that's. You don't want to lose the first goal in 20 minutes, but it'd be nice to get one, wouldn't it?
Mm. And Ross, I mean, you've been a manager. Jonathan Woodgate said today that we're not going to sit back. We only know one way, and that's win the football match. But this is delicately balanced. This next goal is the biggest goal in this tie. Yeah,
it's massive. And I think obviously then gives a real incentive for Brentford to be the team that goes and gets it to go and build and to to make the most of getting that first goal. But I think it's really interesting that the way they went about the first leg, the first game, is when you're playing against a team like that. Bournemouth obviously very used to dominating possession in a lot of their games, but when you're playing against a team as much of a threat, you have to take that into consideration about how much they dominate the ball, and to be able to hurt them on the counter attack is really, really important in these big games. So I think there's going to be a lot of moments tomorrow when Bournemouth are without the ball. They've got to be disciplined. They've got to stay organised, and knowing full well that when they do regain it, that you've got the players out there that are going to be able to go and hurt Brentford.
A player we've been able to keep quiet, Dan, 3 times this season is Ivan Toney. Can we do it again? And can Dom Solanke add to his goal stats this season?
First question is, we can keep him out. We've kept him out before 3 times. And of course, Dom Solanke is going to score. It's a no-brainer. I've been saying it. It's a brace is incoming. I'm predicting that's my optimistic prediction. That Dom Solanke brace takes us through, and that's getting framed on my wall. It's Dom Solanke, as I said, done a lot of the work that goes unnoticed. And to be honest, to be in this situation, I'm very nervous right now. But I was saying to you that, start of the year, the season off, I don't have any expectations at this point. So to be in this position right now, potentially going to the final of the playoffs, I will take it. I think everyone will take it. So, yeah.
I know what you like, Keith. An hour before kick-off tomorrow, the lineups will be released, and you'll be looking at those lineups. You'll be trying to work out what Thomas Frank's going to do and how they're going to approach the game. I mean, what are you expecting?
He's going to throw the kitchen sink at us. I think he's really out for business. So be interested to see if he goes his 4-3-3, try and match us up and physically dominate us, as they did in parts of the first leg. But I've got this vision, and I think it's going to go 3-2 to us, and Solanke gets the last goal.
Lots and lots of goals. I tell you what, should we see that goal again from Monday? That Arno Danjuma goal. Now, this is fan footage with a twist. What I want to know in the chat when you're watching this, do you prefer Tovey commentary or Partridge?
Yes! 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 Yes, 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 yes! That was a goal.
Now, don't break my heart, Scotty.
Toby for sure, mate. Had heart, had passion. You could hear that you meant it. That was Toby for sure for me.
Fantastic. It was great to be in there. I mean, I don't know if you were there, Scotty, but I mean, those fans in the stadium, Brentford are going to have them tomorrow as well. Do they make a difference?
I've said all season, we're a team that it does make a big difference. We really are. And I know a lot of teams say that and what have you, but I think we're our little community club. And when players are playing for us, we're like, I think we're like everybody's second favourite team anyway. So, it's something that the players enjoy playing in front of the fans. But for us at home at Bournemouth, it's a massive thing for us.
And Ross, you've taken teams up from the lower leagues. You've had those fans behind you. If Brentford score the first goal tomorrow with 4,000, is the pressure going to be on Bournemouth?
Yeah, of course it will be. But I think at this stage of the season, and with what everyone's been through and missed throughout the season of having people in or not, I think that atmosphere, what that can bring in a game like tomorrow, could incentivise both teams either way. I think you go into that knowing that your backs are going to be against the wall, etc., and all the cliches that go with it. But when or if someone scores, I think it can have an inspirational impact on either team, either way, because both sets of players, both clubs have been without it for so much this season that it's something exciting for everyone to play in front of. So I think it could be a big lift to both teams, for the good and the bad, and something that you find players responding to in different ways, which is probably something you've seen all season anyway. So many games have been so crazy that the reactions are so different when people are or aren't in the ground.
And the mind game started that.
I don't want to take over here. Could I just ask Ross how it is for the players when they're playing? It's got to be the days that you play for, surely. I mean, when we play with darts and you make the TV stages and everything, all the hard work has been about doing that. So surely there must be an element of that with the players that they want to do their job and sort of do a job on their opposite number and win their sort of part of the game, sort of a la Roy Keane style. And so I want to boss the centre midfield, and if I can do my bit and a couple of others can boss theirs, we can win the game. Is that not going to be a player's mentality going into it?
I think, of course, it will be, but I think what is easy to forget is the impact that all the trimmings and all the things around it, the scale of the game. We've come on here already, and one or two people have mentioned already about feeling nervous. Well, that's going to be no different for the players and the manager and the people surrounded by the club. This is like, if it's not quite yet, but on the borderlines of being the biggest game in English football, arguably, in terms of what it can all bring. So it does add an extra pressure. Of course, all of the things that you just mentioned, couldn't agree with you more. Beating your opposition, having the motivation of going and winning a game and carrying your team that little bit closer to the promised land again is massive. But there is always the additional trimmings that, like I say, that come with it, just for all of us and the people that want Bournemouth to do well. So if you're the ones going out there carrying the responsibility, it's obviously huge for you as well.
We were talking about nerves then, Dan. Is Jonathan Woodgate trying to take the pressure off the players today, saying we're still underdogs, they're still the favourites?
Yeah, nice little bit of mind games that was, wasn't it? I don't know, because I think there's little bits of mind games from both teams. What Thomas Frank was saying, that Bournemouth fans didn't make much noise. They'll have loads of noise at our stadium, things like that. It's just but I don't think you can look too much into that at the end of the day. I think that it's going to be difficult because, as we've mentioned, if they do get the first goal, if there is any goals in the game, if they do get that first goal, I think it's going to be very difficult for us with having the Brentford fans there. But we've got to be calm and composed. One thing that's really important is when we get the ball, because that last 30 minutes after we scored the goal was horrible, because a lot of it was being played in our half, and when we did get the ball, we didn't keep it for very long. We've got to keep the ball and relieve the pressure. If obviously depending on the situation, but if we do get into that situation where it is tight, we are still winning, we've got to keep possession as much as we can do and not give the ball away cheaply, because that can reduce the mistakes.
And as I said, Keith, Jonathan Woodgate has said we're not going to sit back, we're going to go for it. But can you sometimes fall into the trap that you will drop deep and invite pressure?
It is tempting. You're protecting the lead at the moment. But I think if we have to play Wiltshire tomorrow, we're going to have to play like through the middle. Get him the ball, let him roam about that midfield, let him boss that game. But by playing in the spaces and getting that ball up to Solanke and then getting that onto Danjuma or Brooksy if he's coming in, and let's go and really take it at him. We've just got to have that mentality that we've got to play high and quick. But Arnie's going to be crucial for us tomorrow, and I feel good about him. I think tomorrow is the perfect game for him to say, I've arrived in football, because he is exceptional, and I think he can come up with the magic. I see him scoring the brace rather than Solanke, but Solanke to finish the shit off for the season and take us on to the next game. I really feel we can do it tomorrow.
And before we bring the last set of fans on, should we take a look at that lineup in this group then and see if you think it'll be any different? Let's just show that. Scotty, we know that Steve Cook's 50-50. I don't think he'll play. That's my gut feeling. Yeah. Ben Pearson also 50-50. And if anything, Scott, Ben Pearson is probably a little bit more important than Steve Cook if we have to change one.
To be honest, I would put Pearson on. Even if he's 50-50, I would put Pearson on at the start. And if you get 55 minutes out of him, 50 minutes out of him, and then we have to swap him for Wiltshire, then we do. I would rather see that happen. I don't want to see him kept on the bench and being thrown on for 20 minutes at the end. I think it's very difficult for a midfield player to come on and get up to the pace with only 20 minutes to go in such a big game. I just think that we've got to get him on there. If he's injured a little bit and he's carrying a little bit and we're unsure whether he can make it to the end, fire him on at the start. And if we get 20 minutes, we get 20. If we get 55, we get 55.
I'm going to use your manager experience again, Ross, because if Ben Pearson is 50% fit and Jonathan Woodgate's put into a corner where he's got to play him half fit, I mean, how delicate is that for a manager to force a player on that isn't fit?
You probably don't really want my opinion. I've been sacked, so I can't give you a great deal of expertise. I think what Scott said.
Can I just add to that I totally disagree that you got sacked. So I think that's harsh. So I think you were doing very well for what for where Leyton Orient were. You were doing a good job.
Thank you. No, what I would say is I think with that is I totally agree with what Scotty just said there. I think if you're going into a game of this magnitude, this is the most important one. And if he's carrying knocks, if there's a little bit of doubt hanging over him, bringing him on for 20 minutes for the last 20 minutes in a game, for example, makes it really, really tough to get up to speed, to get with the intensity and the tempo of the game for a player that's already working a little bit up against it. So I think if he can go into the game at the beginning fresh and see how far into it you can get him, if he can carry Bournemouth through and then let someone else come on at the back end of it to get over the line, I think that then really gives him a massive opportunity to have his impact on the game. Whereas coming into it late, the circumstances can be so varied, so it makes it very difficult. So from my experiences, I think I would tend to more try to go with what I would perceive as my first choice or the best selection that you can possibly do to get into the game. And then the circumstances will dictate of a change of shape, a change of personnel further into it that you get.
Dan, Chris Mepham, a troubled season, in and out the team. Mm-hmm. He scored at Watford, but he's had a few negative moments as well. Came on Monday and did not let himself down. I thought he did brilliantly, because there was a moment inside the stadium, outside the stadium at home, that people saw Steve Cook go off and were like a bit worried. But are you sure you don't want to shift Kelly in there and play Rico left back?
No. I think we've established this season that Kelly is a left back. And that is his best position, and his link up with Danjuma is important. Yes, he can play centre back, but I'd much rather have a Mepham after that performance. I think every Bournemouth fan was worried when Cook came off, but I was really, really happy to see him put a good performance in. I think that will give him a fair amount of confidence, and I think that with the Pearson situation, we haven't really got a direct replacement like we have as a centre back, and he's so important in these type of games. To break up the flow of Brentford's play, to get stuck in. And I think starting him from the beginning is probably the right decision.
And the last couple of questions on that lineup then, Keith. Would Jack Stacey want to start? He's always done a good job when he's came in. And would Jack Wilshere be upset, being 100% fit, that Ben Pearson's coming in, instead of him at 50% fit?
I'm going to be slightly controversial. I would actually trust in Wilshere to start. and play with a single pivot with Lerma just screening in front, and let's get quite direct to them and get the ball to Wiltshire. His passing's excellent, and I think just to get us going forward will be really useful, and then save Pearson for the really important game, and that's the next game and who we play next if we go through. So Jack's an experienced player. Let him have a little bit of freedom to move around, help Billing, come back, pick up the ball, get the tempo going again, get a pass out to Darney, pass out to Brooksy. Let's get going at him. I think he could really be useful for us in this next 30 minutes. And then at 60, we can say, OK, we've been bent on a little bit of legs, but that's the way I will play it. And then Stacey, actually, I would go for rather than Smith to get us. We could go to a 3 and let Mepham screen across if Jack's out of position. So Stacey gives us those legs, and he could really help out Meps. But that's just the way I see it. But Woody would know what he's doing. I trust him completely. But I just think let's get at him. Let's really get at him in this next half.
Been great to have you all on. Scotty, are you going to be able to watch the game tomorrow? And what's your score prediction? And your score prediction then, Scotty?
I don't. I think that Brentford are going to score. I think that they're going to come at us. I think it'd be 1-1, maybe 2-1 to us. That's what I'm hoping.
Great to have you on again, Scotty. So wish you all the best for the starting.
Thank you, mate.
Hopefully we'll see you again. Stay with me for just one more minute. Ross, great to have you on again. Really appreciate it and all your experience that you bring. I mean, what are you expecting this game to be tomorrow with your score prediction?
I think it's obvious to say it's going to be close. I do think that Brentford will score. I think to say that they will, albeit the clean sheets that have gone before in this game. I think they score. I'm going to go 1-1 to see Bournemouth through 2-1 over the 2 legs.
Dan, I'm sure your cameras are going to be out on you and yourself and your dad when you're watching, getting your reactions, and probably landing on your channel at some point. But how are you feeling? What's the score prediction?
Yeah, we certainly will be recording that, and hopefully it's a Bournemouth going to Wembley video. But it doesn't really have much logic to it. But I just feel like a 0-0. I don't know why, because there's no logic behind that. Because Brentford should probably score. Everyone's saying Brentford will probably score, but I just have a feeling it's going to be a game of quite a few chances. Like Brentford will hit the bar or something, maybe the post as well. We'll have a penalty appeal that doesn't go away, and I think it will just end up 0-0. I just got a feeling. So come back to this. But yeah, close game. That's obvious. But fingers crossed.
Coming in, Keith. 90 minutes left to go. Maybe more, and maybe penalties. But what's your score prediction tomorrow?
I don't know the score tomorrow, but what I would love to see is a classic 3-2. Both teams at it. Both teams playing at their full potential. You want to see that. But I've got a feeling that Dom's just going to do it in around about the 80th minute, and I can see a set piece possibly for Meps. He could be the monster tomorrow. So, but best of luck to the boys. Let's take it on though. Let's beat them at their place and put the argument to bed once and for all.
Great stuff. I love the scenes if we do it. Love it.
Oh,
cheers,
mate,
guys.
I can't wait.
Cheers, Scotty, Ross, Dan, and Keith. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully, a Bournemouth
Thank you,
win.
Ross. Thank you, Dan. Up the cherries, guys.
Awesome,
Up the
guys.
cherries.
We've got the last set of fans coming on. And before that, should we see what Morgan Scott's got to say about the fixture?
Hi. I just wanted to share my opinions and my thoughts ahead of the game against Brentford on Saturday at lunchtime, kicking off at 12:30 on Sky Sports. AFC Bournemouth go into the game, the second leg semi-final, with a 1-0 advantage thanks to Arnaud Danjuma for his one goal at the Vitality Stadium on Monday evening. It was a very good game between both sides. AFC Bournemouth seemed to do the basics right. Brentford did try and attack and do their best. On the day, it turned out to be a 1-0 win to AFC Bournemouth. Thankfully, I think we can be quite confident going into the game. However, let's not get carried away. Anything can happen. It could potentially go to extra time or penalties even. However, I also think that AFC Bournemouth might just have enough. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win at the Community Stadium. I'm going to go for 1-0, one goal from David Brooks, and I'm going to go for a second goal by Arnaud Danjuma. I think what we have to remember is to do the basics right, believe, and as the club say, as our motto says, anything is possible. Up the cherries in all departments, and hopefully we return to the Premier League. Up the cherry. This team is special. Up the cherry. Thank you.
There we go. That was Morgan Scott with his prediction. And we've got Rich, Mark and Simon K with the Phil Bill. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
That's spot
right, you're the last slot of fans, so I'm really expecting you to bring it home. And Simon, we were there on Monday. We saw it live. Oh, should we see that goal again?
Yeah, do it.
Yes! 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 That was a goal.
I have to credit Steve Hensman for the graphics, by the way. I did forget that the first time. So, yeah, Simon, you were there. You felt home. We got the result. 1-0. How you feeling?
Listening to you lot, I get more nervous. Actually, before it, I wasn't too bad, to be fair. But how I feel about the game is it won't be a Bournemouth performance without some squeaky bum time. And that squeaky bum time will come in the last 5 minutes. I think it's going to be 1-1 to that point. I've got my money, my $1 bill on Phil Bill to get the first goal. Then Tony's going to score. Then they're going to be throwing everything at us and they're going to hit the post and all sorts of stuff. And we're going to be shitting our pants, excuse me, for all the children that are listening. And then we're going to go flying up the other end and Danjuma's going to score and we're going to be totally relieved. So 2-1 to us.
Mark, great to have you on again.
Hello,
Begovic shut out Brentford. You know about keeping clean sheets. You've done it a little down. Well, actually, Mark Pugh did put a couple past you, I have to remember. But you're a very good goalkeeper. Can Begovic keep Brentford out again tomorrow?
That's very kind words of you, Kirk. Thank you very much. And not to mention that Tom Jordan scored an absolute worldie the week before as well, didn't he? So, yeah, do you know what? Hats off to Asmir this season because, yeah, if it wasn't for him this year, I think we would have been in a much trickier situation than what we're facing now. It was quite interesting because there was a stat that I heard from the last game, which was he had like was it the second most shots or third most shots? It was something within the top 5, but that so it's quite unusual to have a keeper within the top 6 to have faced so many shots. But I guess as Cherries fans, we're getting kind of used to that now, isn't it? And our defensive lapses, so to say, over the past couple of seasons. But saying that now, with the likes of Carter Vickers coming back in, it's a real shame for Cookie this time. Would have loved to have him in for this game. But Metham, it's a huge chance for him. It's a massive chance, and it's not so much going back to his old stomping ground. So hopefully that will alleviate some pressure and any sort of cobwebs he may have or allegiances to Brentford. So, it's a big game for him. Really, really is.
Good to see you, Rich. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I was going to say to you, Kirk, using Steve's footage without saying anything, that's quite brave. But you got in there, you redeemed yourself there. I thought it's because he wasn't here, you just snuck it in there.
I know, I wouldn't have heard about it all night either. He would have been on the phone. Arnie Danjuma, player of the season, Rich, was probably quiet in large spells of the first half, but we always say get him in the right areas, facing the goal, on the run. Brooksy got it through to him. He never misses them. Do you know what? He always does it. You know exactly what he's going to do. He did it against Bristol City, but teams just can't stop him.
No, I mean, he's definitely got a talent there, isn't he? I mean, he's when he's on it, he's on it. I mean, do you remember at the beginning of the season or just before he was injured, everyone was saying he's so annoying. He doesn't ever release the ball, doesn't pass, and then, a switch just sort of, he's a very confident lad, isn't he? But he's saying on media, I'm going to come back, I'm going to make a difference. And boy, has he. You know what I mean? He's certainly done that this season.
We've talked about the mind games, Simon. Thomas Franks saying, I want VAR in these games. We're talking about £170 million. We're not underdogs. We have turned around a 1-0 loss in the first leg last year. And Woodgate's going, we're not the favourites. They are. I mean, there's mind games.
There always is, but I'm a great believer that you've just got to focus on your job. Listening to some of the things earlier, mind games aside, the point I wanted to come on about was possession. And if you look at the stats and our performances through the season, it's better if we don't have the ball on average than actually if we do. So I haven't got a problem with letting them have the ball. And I think that was one of the things that was good about the performance on Monday. And I want to see more of that because it is our counter-attack that is going to be the thing that's going to win us this game again. I have slight concerns about some of the things I've heard them say about that they're not going to come through the middle. They might try and play with some more width. That worries me in terms of our defensive shape. With Danjuma having to come back, will he come back as much as he needs to? Because he hasn't at different times in the season. He has more recently, but play the counter-attack football. Let's go at it. Let's have a go. Anyone who can't get through 90 minutes, whether that's Pearce or anybody else, let's just get Wilshere on and manage the game time second half.
But that was their first loss in 12 games, Mark. I was very confident on Monday. I'm less so confident tomorrow. The first goal, if they get it early with fans behind them, that could be the difference. If we get the first goal, it could be game over.
Yeah, the current 1-0 scoreline is a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? As much as we're going there with the advantage, you still got to treat it like it's almost 0-0, don't you? I'm very much with Simon on that as well. It will be a test for our defence massively, absolutely, because we've given Brentford the impetus now to really come at us and actually just throw the kitchen sink at us from the off. But what that is going to do is quite possibly leave them open at the back. So we are going to be relying on that counter-attacking ability. So yeah, let's just be creative with it. We've seen what this league can do as well. We went on a 7-game winning streak as well. Yeah, okay, and that's Brentford's first loss in 12, but it doesn't matter what happens in the past. It matters what happens on the day. We are in a prime position at the moment. We've got the advantage. We'd be foolish and stupid just to throw it away now.
And one area that always worries me, Rich, is aerial balls coming into the box and individual errors. Can we shut them out without those two things causing us a problem tomorrow?
Looking at the last game, Brentford, obviously, a lot of games, but focusing on the last game, Brentford are a very good area, don't they? You see every goal kick that went out, any sort of one that we lofted forward, they always got their head on the end of it, didn't they? And set pieces and corners this season, we've obviously been mediocre to say the least, and we've suffered from other people's set pieces, so we've just got to be really careful of that and hopefully see it out. But as Simon said earlier, it's Bournemouth at the end of the day, so I'm sure we'll have some moments, won't we?
We haven't even started the game, we're already on the edge of our seats, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it.
Right, you're the final set of fans then. Let's look at this team then, Simon. 50-50 Steve Cook, 50-50 Ben Pearson. I personally think Steve Cook won't be fit. Ben Pearson, maybe they'll get some paracetamol into him, whatever he might need. Looking at that team, are you confident that'll be the team, or would you want to play around with it at all?
No, I'll stick with that team. I have at moments been thinking about filling the midfield a bit more to let them have the ball, but I'm not quite sure how we do that. So I couldn't make it work, and there's no way I'm going to 3 at the back. That's just not going to happen. So that is the way it's going to stay. Way back in the season, I was wildly playing 4-2-3-1, and eventually it happened. But the bit that worries me, and I will say, even though I'm quietly confident that it will all work out, is that I believe that Brentford will try and play with more width than they did last time. And Danjuma and Brooks, one of them, or Billing or whoever, is going to have to be really disciplined through this game tomorrow to probably come back a bit more than they might like to do. So that's my only concern that I have. But I think we will score 2 goals on the counter, one in the 91st minute after they've hit the post.
Couple of fans then, Mark. Maybe Stacey could be in with a shout. Jack Wilshere will be knocking on the door saying I'm 100% fit, and Rico could go left with Kelly popping inside. But you're looking at that lineup. Anything you want to change?
I would love to think that Pearson would start, and he's in a better position. And again, it's just some of the mind games that Woodgate may be playing. I mean, looking at that, you would possibly even think if that's the line that we're going to go with, Billing would probably just drop in, maybe not be so offensive that he has been recently. Billing just to drop in a little more, give Pearson and Lerma a license to maybe just get out a bit wider and support our fullbacks. I would start with Smith, absolutely, because then I think when it comes into the latter stages, and we probably need to have somebody to carry the ball out. I think Stacey will be in the prime position to do that. Absolutely. For Rico and for like Riquelme and the likes of Surridge and that, I think this game it's almost too massive to rely on them to a certain degree. And Woodgate has proven that with the consistency that this team has got the ability to beat anyone in this league. So I would have stuck with that straight away.
If this game's 0-0, Rich, going into say the 60th minute, or we've already scored a goal and we've got a 2-0 aggregate lead, are we going to see full-back overload coming on with regards to Stacey Smith on one side, Kelly Rico on the other? Is it pretty obvious?
Yeah, I mean, I think he will. He's shown in the past that if he wants to protect his lead, that's the way he goes, isn't it? And obviously, if we got 2-0, then he probably will. If it's 1-0, obviously, I think he'll still have to go for it. He hasn't really got any other options because it could just, go against him. So I think if we're winning 2-0 and it's in the second half, he will then go with, as you say, the overload.
And Simon, if it's not going to plan, we have got players we can bring off the bench. We've got Riquelme, we've got Shane Long, we've got Sam Surridge. We could also potentially bring on Mark Travers in the 90th minute if we need to.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if it goes to penalties or we're heading down that way, I hope Stanislas is on the bench. I mean, I saw him in the car park after the game the other night and I said, are you going to be fit? And he said, unlikely, it's going to be too soon. But, why can't he come on as a sub just to be there for penalties? Travers, you could say he could come on as a penalty saver, let alone a header in the 95th minute, which would be amazing. But, I don't think he'll come on for the pens. But, Begovic didn't get player of the season, so why not chuck Travers in and bring Stanislas on for a penalty, and Stanislas bags the winner.
This is almost your final opportunity because we will have lineups live tomorrow. Remember, 45 minutes before kickoff, lineups live on YouTube. We'll react to those lineups and that team that Jonathan Woodgate will pick. But what is your score prediction for tomorrow? Place it in the chat one more time. Let's see what you're thinking. See if you've changed it in the last half an hour or 45 minutes. Simon, how's it going to play out tomorrow? What's the score prediction?
When he scores,
we win.
So he's going to score the first goal and we're all going to relax. We're going to think it's going to be all fine. And then Tony's going to score. And then we're all going to get all Bournemouthy and get really worried, as I said. And then Dan Juma is going to get one on the break. And we'll be off to Wembley. 2-1 to us.
I think we will score the first goal. I think they'll peg us back. And it's going to be one hell of a last 20 minutes or 15 minutes. I don't know where I'll be watching, Mark. But tomorrow, 12:30, it'll kick off. What you're expecting to happen and that all-important score prediction?
I'm going to go with a 1-1. 1-1. Yeah, they're going to come at us. They're going to throw that kitchen sink at us, and they're going to huff and they're going to puff, and we're going to catch them on the counter, mate. And Dan Juma's going to score an absolute worldie.
Love it. And Rich, you've never hid away from being honest. I think you put in the chat sometimes that maybe it's not going to be our day today. We might not get the result. But how are you feeling about tomorrow?
My waters are okay. Yeah, my waters are doing all right. No, I'm thinking like yourselves. To be honest, it's going to be a 1-1. I quite fancy Brooks doing a worldie. To be honest, tomorrow. I'd like a 2-1, Simon, but. 2-1 overall would be great, but 3-1 overall would be even better, wouldn't it? So yeah, I'd like a 2-1, but I'm seeing a 1-1.
Great stuff, guys. I hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. Fantastic stuff. Appreciate you coming on. Stay with me. stay with me as we see the show out. Really appreciate everyone coming on the show, checking out the preview with the other 3 teams. You can check that out on YouTube, the playoff debate preview and this fan reaction or fan preview reaction ahead of Brentford. So check out Lineups Live tomorrow, 11:45 a.m. That'll be our last chance before the boys head to the pitch. So enjoy the rest of your evening. From all of the guests that have joined in this evening, let's hope the boys can do it tomorrow. Have a good evening. Up the Cherries.